Sai Ram. In many Sai devotee homes, we see a placard which says, Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba is the head of this family, a silent listener in every conversation, an unseen guest at every meal. You know, even if we incorporate one of these three aspects into our lives, we will start growing and going closer towards the divine. For instance, let us take the third aspect, an unseen guest at every meal. Now, food is a very important component that aids us not just in physical growth, but also in our mental development and our spiritual progress. There are so many do's and don'ts when it comes to food to ensure that our bodies, minds and spirit are kept in good shape. Now, it might be difficult to follow all these rules and regulations. One easy way, one shortcut is to imagine and feel Swami's presence with us during every meal. If we are able to imbibe the spirit of Swami being an unseen guest at every meal, automatically everything related to food gets transformed. In order to help in this, I thought of reliving some of the most beautiful moments of dining with Swami. This will give us so many insights and will also give us practical tips as to how do we feel Swami's presence during our meal, and then from that benefit in our body, in our minds and our spirit. It's not like I have eaten many times with Swami. I might have eaten about a dozen times, and that was majorly during the Hadshi and Delhi trips, and so therefore, disclaimer, whatever I'm saying is based on that much experience only. But even in that much time, those many sessions, it was amazing to observe Swami. Let me start off by saying, Swami sits with all of us, and then as always we begin with Brahmarpanam, the food prayer. By the time we have finished Brahmarpanam, Swami has finished off his food. And that's it, he is ready to go. And this is not just the case of that one session or that one trip. What I got to know is, even when Swami was in Puttaparthi, right? So Swami would get up, Swami would not have like a breakfast and lunch, he would have a brunch. Around 9:30 he would have the brunch, and 9:30 is the time when the bhajans are also getting over. So as the Aarti begins, Om Jai Jagadisha Hare, Swami Sathya Sai Hare, Swami stands there for 3 waves of the camphor, and then he walks out of the bhajan hall and he goes into the interview room. And after the Aarti gets over, that's it. 2 minutes later the interview room door opens and Swami is out, and he would walk back and go to his residence near the Purnachandra auditorium. What I got to know is that is the time Swami is having his brunch. In fact, Brother Satyajit had once mentioned that he prayed to Swami whether in the morning bhajans we can add even Asatoma Sadgamaya and some Gayatri also, because he felt he wants to give little more time for Swami to eat food. But no, in that much time. So with that kind of eating, we have seen how Swami's body has been. Swami's body was never overweight, heavy, nothing. But you cannot even say it's malnourished or thin, nothing. It shows what is the importance of food. When they say we eat food to live and we don't live to eat, right? We eat to live and not live to eat. I think Swami was an epitome of that, and that is something we have to keep in mind. We will come to the details little later, but that is one very unique thing about Swami. By the time Brahmarpanam is done, his food is done, which means actually to eat a meal completely, 2 minutes is enough, 2 minutes is enough when we eat 3 times a day. Then the thing is, Swami eats so little, and one occasion in Hadshi, Swami used to have one big table at which 2-3 other elders would sit, and we were all at different tables surrounding Swami's table. But that one occasion, the first time in Hadshi, he looked at a few of us and said, come, join me. And that was how, though the elders were waiting, we went and sat with Swami. It was a snack session, and Swami said, yeah, serve. So when Swami is there, the person is asking, do you want bonda? Do you want kesri bath? Do you want so many snack items? Some 10 items they have made. But you know what? Your focus is so much on Swami, you just don't care. Like, yeah, you put it, yeah, you don't put it, doesn't matter. I feel this is very significant, because when we actually have the feeling that we are dining with God, our focus is never about food. Nowadays we are so fussy about food. We decide what is it that we want to eat. I want to order this, in this spice is more, in this salt is less, in that sweet is more. So much. I'm talking definitely from my angle, because I can be quite fussy at times. Like it's like an entertainment thing. So much care we take about our food, not in terms of the nutrition, in terms of it satisfying our senses. But I learned that when we eat with Swami, honestly, if you ask me the dishes, the 12 times that I've eaten, I remember every conversation we had with Swami, but I'm not able to remember the dishes, which shows that when our focus is God, right, automatically we are not intaking the food with in a sensual manner in order to fulfill those pleasures. No. We are eating food in the right manner. We are eating it because it needs to nourish our body. So like when they serve after that also, not just about what food is being served, even the quantity, you just eat a little because you're so lost in seeing the Lord, seeing Swami sitting there, that Swami mentioned there, I'm just going and coming. And Swami told one of the elders there, see, when I'm sitting, these boys are not able to eat. I'll go in and then they'll thrash the food. And that's exactly what happened. Once Swami left the table, it was like as if, we are released, and our senses came back alive, and get me one more bonda, get me one more Mysore pak. We are back to our taste buds, and So again, this is so symbolic, which I feel is so important when we take up this endeavor of trying to have a meal with Swami. If we can make every meal like that, it's so beautiful, because automatically we are focused on the reason why we are eating. We are eating because we need to live. We are not living to eat. And the best thing would be, whatever Swami is liking and eating, you can pick and eat. 100% it will be mostly sattvic only. The only reason Swami might be partaking something what is called rajasic or tamasic is because never tamasic, because tamasic is usually meats, intoxicants like alcohol and stale food, but sometimes rajasic because the devotee wants, they have made it and Swami you should taste for their sake. And how does Swami eat? Phenomenal, whatever be the dishes. Like every time, as I said, every time I have dined with him is when Swami is outside traveling, and therefore 10-15 people will try to make different dishes and offer to Swami. Later on, even at Prashanti Nilayam and Brindavan, it became the same, where 10-15 different tiffin carriers would arrive to Swami, and Swami has a huge plate, because they'll keep it in bowls. There'll be some 15-20 bowls, and then what does Swami do? He'll take one small silver spoon. It is smaller than a teaspoon. It's like that spoon which they give for you to mix sugar in your coffee or tea, right? That he'll take little of each sabji, each curry, and he'll put it in the center of his plate. I have seen this. And so 7-8 curries, paneer curry, mixed vegetable curry, this curry, that curry, then little rasam, little sambar. Make a mixed mound out of it, and with one puri, small puri, this size, one puri or 2 puris, just finish, done. That's all is his lunch. Again, very strong message that, see, out of our love for Swami, you can make, but Swami is not here to relish, your paneer curry or your that. No likes, no dislikes. Absolutely eating for the sake of sustaining the body, kind of. Because I will not want to mix, right? How can you mix paneer curry and sambar? How can you mix? No, nothing like that. He'll mix everything. Shirdi Baba used to do it. He used to go with his begging bowl, and whatever people give, he'll take in the same bowl, because you put everything, roti, everything, it's one, and just he'll mix it and he'll eat it, he'll feed the dogs. Swami's circumstances were different, but the same practice continued, because whether given in a mud pot or in silver crockery and silverware, this is how Swami would eat, and that's why he would finish his food so fast. And another thing I felt, Swami was kind of vocal for local, kind of, he would not be enamored by exotic foods. I remember during one Delhi session when we were eating food, they brought to him kiwi fruit. It was an exotic fruit at that time. Now in India we get lots of kiwi. Swami was like, oh, okay, it's okay, fine. Like, he wanted his watermelon and muskmelon that he used to eat every day, the local fruits. So then they tried to tell him, Swami, this is kiwi, Swami. Swami ate and said, okay, it's fine, nothing big, it's fine, I'll have this only. Then somebody else started to tell, Swami, it is having this vitamin, this mineral. Swami said, enough, don't tell me all this nutrition thing. Swami said, see, what is there? And Swami pointed to the center, the seeds. Swami said, see, all insects are there, flies are there inside it. The fruit flies. How can you give fruit with fruit flies? Then, basically it went on like, no Swami, this is not, this is just the seed, Swami. Swami said, no. And finally he didn't. So I used to see that whatever it might be, wherever they will try to give the, if you try to do some exotic thing, no, whatever is locally available, I'll eat it. In fact, in Hadshi, he used to keep eating, and one day somebody, they made charo. Charo is like a kind of rasam, that, rasam only, they made, and Swami was so amazed. Swami said, wow, you're making rasam here. Because, the way he exclaimed it, he's like, see, we know Swami is God, and whenever he wants whatever, he will be given that. But he exclaimed because he did not expect to get rasam, which is a South Indian dish, when he's having his lunch here. He's fine with whatever is locally available, right? I feel this is such a sustainable thing also, locally sourced food, because as we become more and more aware, kiwi fruit might be nutritious and amazing, but if I'm not growing it in India, if I'm getting it from New Zealand, the carbon footprint of one kiwi fruit is going to be so high. That's why it makes sense that we source and eat locally. And all this Swami did it on his own. It is now 10-12 years later that I'm thinking of all this and coming up with explanations, but Swami did this so naturally. We would all be seated, as I said, Brahmarpanam would begin, and we would open our eyes, and that time, no. We were told, close your eyes. Don't see Swami while he's eating because he'll get conscious. So that's another thing. We should not look at other person eating, keep focused on your plate. After we finish Brahmarpanam, eat in absolute silence. The silence would be so intense that we would not even make the sound of our cutlery, the spoon hitting the bowl. It's a thrilling experience. Never it is possible to have it at all, because some sound or the other will be being made. And that Swami, showed us how eating can be a divine meditative trance experience. Because when everyone is focused only on food, nowadays what happens is, food is an entertainment. While having food, we want other entertainment. We are watching our phone while eating, we are reading something while eating, watching television while eating. In fact, some of the good eating spaces, they advertise themselves like that. Come watch India playing Australia in the World Cup final, watch the soccer match between Argentina and Brazil, and then you eat. It's like one entertainment thing, it has become food. No, Swami, eating is a divine thing, because you're sustaining the body, which is a vehicle to take you to divinity. So therefore, absolute silence, complete focus on the food, and absolute no to any entertainment options, anything that excites our passion, excites our senses. Swami was very clear about it. In fact, I remember during one Kodaikanal trip, Swami had narrated this, and a recording of this I saw. Swami is sharing how in a village, Swami said, there were two women living in neighboring huts, and there arose some dispute about the land, somebody threw something here, somebody's buffalo came here. I don't remember the exact details of what happened, but the two women got very upset with each other. They were screaming at each other, shouting at each other, and Swami is narrating the story to all the boys who are seated there around him. And Swami said, one of the ladies was breastfeeding, she was feeding the child. She came out and fought, and it was an ugly fight, but she continued holding the baby, she's feeding, but they're fighting. And then Swami said, when she went back home, she discovered that her child is dead. And Swami said, with so much anger, when you're feeding your child, milk becomes poison. Now this is a story that Swami narrated, but it shows how important it is that when we eat, it's not just the body that's eating, it's our mind and our spirit too that is consuming, and therefore any kind of pollution gets in, We ensure that the food is clean. Same way, the vibrations have to be clean, because that is what happens, and we will notice that. If we happen to be watching, say for example, excitable things during food, we also will get excitable in our day-to-day life. Swami would say, food do, blood do, head do. Swami says, food becomes your blood, blood becomes your head, whatever it is. So our thoughts are directly dependent on what we are eating. And what we are eating is not just the physical gross food that we are eating, but also the subtle food that we are eating, which is through our eyes and ears. Therefore, the eyes, ears, everything has to be focused on the food. And when you're thus focused, there will be absolutely no noise. Some of us chomp and eat noisily. Swami used to not like it. Not because it's a noise and it's disturbing. Of course, it is a noise, it is disturbing, and for some people it can be nauseating as well to hear the chomping sound of somebody eating. But I feel it would be for Swami that you are not focused on food. That's why. When you're focused on food, you become so conscious. You ensure that when you're eating, your mouth is closed. You don't open and chew like that. Your lips are pursed and you chew inside, and so dignified manner we'll be eating. We'll be eating like possibly how Queen Elizabeth would eat, like that, automatically, because we are in Swami's presence. And that is what Swami inculcated in us. No noise while eating, no spillage. Those who serve, like ninja cats, black cats, they'll be going around. Not they'll be dressed in white, but absolutely no sound while serving. They'll serve it so silently, so neatly. Even the way they serve, Swami would be very particular to keep, local traditions in mind. Because, in India, in some parts, when you take like this, the ladle food, you have to serve it like this, meaning your hand should turn inward. So sometimes while taking rice, they serve like this, Swami had given such a blasting to that student later on, and we are wondering why. Then we got to know that when somebody passes away, there is one ceremony that is held, only during that ceremony they serve it like this. They serve food like this, with the ladle. And Swami was aware of that. Swami is aware of everything, but Swami wanted all of us to be aware of that and saying, no, don't serve it like that, because it looks bad for them. They will not be able to. In fact, I heard one conversation again, not heard, I saw it on video, where Swami is mentioning, he's saying that in this aspect, Western devotees are very good. He also says, suppose they're serving some food, if you don't like it, he says, Western devotees, how they'll tell, thank you very much, it was very nice, thank you, I will have something else, like that they will tell. Our Indians, Swami says, our fellows, what they'll do, do you want this? Nah. Swami said, how, don't make such ugly face, because they would have done with so much of love. Maybe it's not up to your taste, but ensure that you don't make grimaces, make ugly faces. If you don't like something, it's okay, you don't like it. So when they come with it next time, you can just say, no, I'm very satisfied. Tell it in a polite manner, obliging manner. So Swami was very keen that nobody makes faces like that and say, this is bad, this is good, So that is the thing. And as I said, he wanted the entire focus to be on eating. It's like a worship that we are doing, right? So when you are doing that worship, how will be focused on worship ideally? Like that it should be on eating. In fact, on a lighter note, I remember Professor Dr. Raghunath Sharma. He is currently the professor in charge of the Department of Mathematics at Prashant Nilayam campus. He was a maths teacher, math lecturer when I was there also. He was a student as well, and he had been to Kodai with Swami. He was narrating that he used to be so focused. He loves food, and therefore he would be very focused in his eating. So one day in Kodaikanal, he was so focused in his eating, he did not even notice that Swami had come behind him and was standing. And he is busy, so engrossed in his eating. And Swami pats him on his back and tells him, it is like, Swami is wanting to tell him that, hey, I am here, you didn't even notice me. Okay. But Swami pats him, and then Swami says, you want something? You want something to eat? Like that. And Raghunath Sharma sir says, I was so lost in that. I just turned and said, oh, Swami, yes, little rasam, Swami. And Swami immediately said, hey, get some rasam for this guy, and they got rasam. But you can understand, so much focus on the eating that even when Swami asked, hey, what do you want? What we would have done? Oh, Swami, Sairam, Swami, what? And no, he said, little rasam, Swami, like that. So that is the kind of focus. Of course, as I said, I told it in a lighter note, but that is the kind of focus we need to have when we have this food. That food is fuel for the body and for our spirit and the mind. It is not fuel for the senses. And therefore, let's not make food into an entertainment, which it has become today. Usually in the older days, they would plan, hey, weekend is coming, what should we do? Let's go to the circus, or let's go to the playground. Nowadays, how do we plan? Let's go to such and such restaurant. Let's go. Means, eating is an entertainment option. It's a socializing option. No, it should not be done. That should not be done. And even on the quantity, quality and quantity, these are two aspects of food that we have to take care. First, let me tell about the quantity, because it's easier and quicker. Swami has suggested, in fact, I think it's there in a letter that he wrote to the students, that if you divide the stomach into 4 parts, Swami says for elders, I don't know what he means by elders. I'm just assuming maybe say 40 plus or I don't know, 45 plus. But Swami says for elders, fill half your stomach with food, 1/4 with water, 1/4 with air, meaning leave it empty. That's how it should be. And Swami says for youngsters, I'm assuming this is mostly for the college students and younger ones, 20, 25. Swami says you can have 3/4 of your stomach with food and 1/4 with water. That is how, that's all. You should never have full stomach. You know, there is a joke, a person goes to a doctor saying that, doctor, my stomach is aching so much, I don't know. And the doctor says, you have just overeaten. Don't worry, take this pill, take this one pill and you'll be fine. And he says, he starts laughing and he says, doctor, you know, if I had space for that one pill, I would have eaten one more vada. Like, I'm full up till here. I can't even have one pill. That is the way we gorge and overeat. So Swami says, no, you should, even as a youngster, the max we need to eat is 3/4. And when we come to the quality of food, that's where, you know, even Brahmarpanam comes in. The quality of food, Swami always said, as far as possible, try to have sattvic food. Now, I am also not very clear with the exact definition of what all come under sattvic food, but generally, whole grains, lentils, pulses, green leafy vegetables, you know, more leafy means more sattvic. And even if it is milk, fresh milk, not pasteurized and stored for so much, frozen, not like that. So these are all considered as sattvic food. In fact, milk also, Swami would say you should have thin milk, not very thick milk, because thick milk makes you dull in your head, Swami would say. In fact, Swami had once said that way, a bit of wine is better than a cup of thick milk. You know, that it doesn't encourage us to drink wine, it discourages from having very thick milk. That's what it is. So that is sattvic food. Rajasic food are those that arouse passions in us. When we feel that we are excitable, we get angry very soon. And mostly when we succumb to these 6 enemies, right? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Getting angry, getting desires, we are getting greedy, we are lustful, or we are proud, or we are envious and feeling jealous. All this is mainly because of Rajasic food that inflame our senses. So onion, garlic, strongly spicy food, any of the thing which is strong, very salty, very sweet, extremely spicy, meats, fresh meats, all of this comes under Rajasic. And Tamasic food, you know, absolutely avoid. Stale food, you know, usually what is stored, we keep food in our refrigerator for 1 week and eat. No, Tamasic, absolutely Tamasic. Such foods, stale foods, and you know, these are the things, alcohol, meats, these are the things that Swami says absolutely avoid. And of course, one may say that this is good for the body, but when we say that, that is good for the body only in certain measure and possibly only for the physical body, it is very, very harmful for the mental body and absolutely destructive for the spiritual body. For spiritual aspirants, sattvic food. And now we come to the important aspect of Brahmarpanam. Swami would always make us chant Brahmarpanam. And why is this? It is said that, let us understand this in the physical sense, and then we can extrapolate and understand that the same holds good in the mental and spiritual sense as well. The food that we eat needs to be clean, and for that our ancestors recommended Paka Shuddhi, Padartha Shuddhi and Patra Shuddhi. So Padartha Shuddhi means the raw material that we use for cooking should be clean and neat. Patra Shuddhi means the vessel in which we cook should be clean and neat. And Paka Shuddhi means the person who is cooking, you know, before, how it used to be, if you have not had bath, you can't enter the kitchen. You can't. You have to be very clean and neat, well shaven, you know, because your hair should not fall into the food, your sweat drop should not fall in the food, you know, it should not happen like that. So therefore, these 3. But this is only in the physical sense. Swami would say it has to be clean like this even in the mental and spiritual sense. What do I mean by that? Swami says the farmer who is growing that crop, right, he should grow it with feelings of love, large-heartedness, Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa. Otherwise, his Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya would have got into the food in the subtle aspect of it. Not just the farmer, the trader to whom he sells and from whom we are purchasing. And if we have a cook at home, you know, the more the intermediaries, more the chances for pollution of the food. That is why in ancient India, right, those who were serious on the spiritual path, even now in some of the monasteries, they call it Swayam Paka. Means Behind, they only have a small garden, they'll only grow their vegetables, they'll only harvest the vegetables, they'll only cut it, they'll only cook it, they'll only eat it. So half the day in their sadhana goes in eating only, preparing food, and you wonder what spiritual practice you're able to do. No, this is so important in my spiritual growth. Food is so important. But Swami says, in the modern times, how can you as students do all this? How can you grow your vegetables and while growing do namasmarana, How do you? Instead of that, Swami says, the best thing is offer the food to God as naivedyam. We do that, right? We do it only during special occasions. Swami's birthday, the cake we cut and the whole thing we put in front of Swami and keep it. And Swami says, when you offer it to God as naivedyam, it comes back to you as prasadam. And anything that comes to you from God is clean of all vibrations and has only divinity. And that is the important role of Brahmarpanam. When we do Brahmarpanam, we are ensuring that the food that we eat is prasadam from the Lord, and therefore it is cleaned of all the subtle energies, negative impact, effect that it can have. And I firmly believe that if we are able to do Brahmarpanam every time with a sincere heart, it's more the feeling that counts. Because sometime a Balvika's child had said, why can't we do Harir Data? Harir Data, Harir Bhokta, Harir Annam Prajapati, Harir Vipra Sharirastu, Bhomte Bojayate Harihi. Very nice. If tasty food is there, you are hungry, you can do this because it gets over in 10 seconds. So it's not about the length of the prayer, it's about the feeling. And let us see what this Brahmarpanam says. It says, Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, Brahmagno, Brahmana Hutam. Brahmaivatena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. This is taken from the Bhagavad Gita, where it says that the one who is eating the food is Brahman, the one who is making the food is Brahman, the food itself is Brahman, the process of eating is Brahman. We are, therefore we are divinizing everything in the entire chain, the entire food chain, not the normal food chain, our food chain that we have discussed now. We are divinizing everything and we are feeling that everything is God. And the Bhagavad Gita shloka is only this. From another part, Swami has taken this Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva. This is very unique. I think only we Sai devotees do it. Because Swami says, Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritaha Pranapana Samayukta Pachamyannam Chaturvidam is the answer that comes from within. Vaishwanara is considered as the fire in the stomach which helps in digestion. And Swami says from within, God is giving the answer that the one who is digesting, I am also God. And I digest all the Pachami Annam, I will digest Annam of 4 types, Chaturvidham. That is solid, semi-solid, paste and liquids. All the 4 types of food I will digest. So that is the spirit behind Brahmarpanam. We understand that everything is divine. It is divine going into the divine, and like that way. One interesting thing, Swami used to like this spicy food. On one occasion in Delhi, he said, hey, there's no spice, only useless, everything tastes the same. He made one first and next day they made spicy food. And we just could not eat it. We pulled in our mouth, tears are coming from our eyes. And Swami is, very nice like that. He used to not insist on it. I think that was the divine drama he did there. And he enjoyed it so much. I just think, like Krishna came with a liking for butter and milk. It's not like God loves butter and milk. And in fact, Puttaparthi used to be called Gollapalli. It was famous for its butter and milk. And people used to go around selling it. And the early day devotees, they used to tell Swami, please have Swami. And Swami would say, no, enough. I had enough for multiple avatars during that one avatar only. So no need. So for some reason, just like Krishna chose the peacock feather and he chose his liking for butter, when the Lord comes in a human form, he has to come with some traits, some recognizable traits. Like our Swami chose the robe and the white handkerchief. Like that, I think he has chosen to like extreme spice. It is not, I just take it like that it's an avataric trait which is very special, very nice. He would describe in great detail about Gongura pickle and Avakai pickle. And I think that also comes because of the state that he is born in, Andhra Pradesh, known for extreme spicy food. In fact, I remember on one occasion somebody had said, in India it's not very common. Nowadays we have it, that we have toilet paper, right? Otherwise we just have water, we don't have toilet paper. So somebody asked in India why they don't keep toilet paper. Then he went to Andhra and he realized, he said, yeah, if they keep it will catch fire. That's why they don't keep toilet. Because that is the amount of spice that people in Andhra use in Guntur. The chilies that grow there are also very spicy. So that is just like an avataric trait that I feel the Lord brought on. It's nothing to think so much about. Then what stories could we share about eating with Swami that could serve as inspiration for the session and more broadly for devotees in their lives? Yeah, there are pictures that I'll share about Swami eating. However, one thing that Swami every time emphasized, don't waste food. Wasting food is a sin. In fact, when we look at sealing on desires, don't waste energy, don't waste time, don't waste money, don't waste food. Food you should never waste. In Kodaikanal, again, in Kodaikanal I say because we get to observe Swami. But in other places, Swami used to do this daily. After eating food, Swami goes to the sink and he gargles and rinses his mouth with the water in his tumbler, not the tap water. Because in India, tap water is not drinkable. In countries abroad, you can directly drink water from the taps. But here you cannot. So Swami, why he would do that? He will he will put water from his glass, gargle and swallow that. He would say, when you spit it out, all those food particles will get wasted. We should not waste food. That level is so tough to reach. Of course, what is served on his plate, as I said, only little he would eat because he knows that there are thousands waiting there to take every bit of food on his plate. On his food plate, what is there? No food would go waste. He would just sample everything a little bit and leave it. It would come as prasadam to all of us. Different people, I think every day at least 200, 300 different people would eat what comes as Swami's prasadam. He would just touch. But he knows that. Swami knows that, right? That is not going waste. So that is fine. But what is in his teeth, what is stuck there, he would not even, it seems crazily perfectionist. But that is what God is, such a perfectionist. Not that he would tell us that to gargle your mouth and swallow the water. But when it was observed, he just mentioned. He said, Swami, you gargled and swallowed. Yeah, that food will go waste. No, we should not waste food. I keep telling everyone not to waste food. How can I waste? Oh my God, this is not wasting food at another level itself, In fact, I remember another episode also. It was narrated by Swami Karunyananda. When Swami was in Bombay once, he was in Dharmakshetra. Even now, if you go to Dharmakshetra, Satyadeep is there. That is Swami's residence. And beyond Satyadeep is a wall, and beyond that wall is a slum area. And that time the wall was not very high. So Swami Karunyananda from his room, he is watching out of his window. He is watching some children in the slum fighting with dogs for the food in the garbage. They are fighting and shooing away the dogs and eating. And his heart, he was feeling very pained. At that time, suddenly he feels a pat on his shoulder and he sees it is Swami. Oh, how did Swami get in? Because his room was locked, But whether it's locked doors or locked hearts, Swami has his way of getting in, and Swami had got in. And Swami, ironically or paradoxically, Swami says, Karunyananda, come, let's go for lunch. And he says, Swami, I don't feel like having lunch. No need, Swami. Swami says, why, no, you should come. Nice food is there, you should have. Usually when they say nice food is there, you feel like having lunch. On this particular day, hearing that nice food is there, even more Swami Karunyananda didn't want to have lunch. He said, no Swami, I don't want to have. Swami then asked him, why are you telling this? Then he said, Swami, on this side of the wall, the avatar of the age is here. The Lord, the Annapurna, such a Lord is here, and just that side of the wall, Swami, children are fighting with dogs and animals for food. Swami, my heart bleeds. Then Swami said, I can understand, but you don't know the whole story. And then Swami said, you see, extremely wealthy and rich people they were. They didn't care for food. They have left not just crumbs on the table, large amounts of food just gone to waste. And the karmic cycle comes back again. It is good what you are feeling, but know that it is not an unjust world. The Lord is not cruel. It is just your own actions coming back to you as reactions. That time you threw away excess food and now you are yearning for that very same food. So this is what Swami gave explanation to Swami Karunyananda, and of course that teaches us that one thing, when we see people, when we see the children, or when we see somebody going hungry, it's not like we should say, it's their karma. No. Till I reach the level of God, I cannot. Because the Lord doesn't see like that, right? We have done our own karmas, yet Lord responds in compassion with us. So we need to respond in compassion. But let us never think that how God can be compassionate. How is God is so cruel? No, nothing. Everything that we are getting, whether positive or negative, is a result of our own actions. It is God who helps us transcend beyond this good and bad and go beyond, so that we are not affected anymore by good and bad. So The moral of this is twofold. One is, it's not that you should not feel for them and do your best. It's good to express compassion. Second thing is, don't waste food. That is the most important thing. Don't ever waste food. And so, dear brothers and sisters, let us make Swami an integral part, an unseen guest at every breakfast, every lunch, every dinner, and also during any of the snacking moments in the day. Dear Swami, we pray that you be part of all our dining sessions, become part of our food, and just as the food is assimilated in our body, may our bodies, minds and hearts assimilate you, and may our love for you keep growing stronger and stronger every passing moment. Thank you. Jaise Ram.